Hey guys. Hey guys, this is Gunner again, and now this is part 2 of Feels Like the First Time, Chapter 2, Rainbow Connection. Where we last left off, it's starting to get pretty good, so I'm gonna start where I left off, and here we go. Without further warning or preamble, Rainbow made her move, closing the distance and giving the other Pegasus a firm, powerful kiss. Derpy trembled in her hooves. Whether in arousal or fear, Rainbow wasn't sure at first, but her uncertainty was gone moments later when she felt the blonde filly return the kiss with a power equal to her own. The water matting their fur down made sure that as they touched each other, their hooves traced the outlines of each other's sensitive flesh up and down their backs and flanks as their hooves began to explore one another everywhere they could reach. Curiously, Rainbow Dash slid her legs up her partner's flanks, pushing across her fur back toward her wings, where her hooves lightly pressed into the joints where the wing met her back. A gasp slipped out between their lips as Derpy shuddered, and her legs seemed to turn to jelly, dropping them both to the floor with Rainbow on top. Rainbow proceeded to push her hooves more firmly into her partner's wing joints, pulling her head back slightly to watch Derpy squirm. "Oh, Rainbow Dash, I didn't know the wing joints were so sensitive." Derpy moaned through deep breaths, her whole body shaking with the sensations. "I heard about it once," Rainbow Dash told her with a grin. "Always wondered if it was true. I guess now I know it is." Rainbow continued to stroke Derpy's wing joints as she leaned her head down, kissing and nibbling passionately at the bottom of Derpy's neck just under her chin, which lifted with a passionate whimper to give her better access. "Oh my gosh, Rainbow Dash," Derpy cried out almost too loudly. "Shh, not so loud, or some pony will hear," Rainbow hissed back, but continued her trail of kisses anyway, down her neck and over her shoulder briefly before tracing further down to her chest. Rainbow gently pushed Derpy off her haunches, urging her to lay back, and her partner swiftly obeyed, leaving Rainbow poised over the other filly's prone body and kissing down the inside of her chest. "Ah, Rainbow Dash," Derpy gasped again, struggling to keep a lid on her volume this time. Her mate spread out haphazardly in every direction on the cloud floor underneath them, and all four of her legs mimicked the posture splayed out wide and giving Rainbow unrestricted access to her underbelly. Rainbow swiftly took advantage, her kisses growing more urgent and rapid the further down Derpy's body they got. In a few seconds, her lips were pecking her stomach. A few more ticks, and there were strands of Rainbow mane brushing the inner thighs of Derpy's back legs. Another second or two, and Rainbow's lips found her partner's nipples, paying them a little extra attention and making Derpy clamp her front hooves over her mouth to hold back her pleasured cry. And then Rainbow moved the last few inches down. Derpy's slit was already shimmering with moisture by the time Rainbow reached it, but only a little bit, not nearly good enough. Rainbow thought with a wicked grin. Before she plunged her snout forward and pressed her lips against it, she let her tongue snake outward, slipping up and down her lips and pressing just half an inch inside of them in a slow, half-experimental, half-teasing motion. Derpy's cries were reduced to almost violently passionate whimpers in her desperation to remain quiet. Her entire body shuddering, Rainbow Dash brought her hooves up to gently hold Derpy's hind legs further apart, glancing up the gray-furred body as her tongue continued to explore. The blonde filly's eyes were clamped shut, and her lips were opened in a passionate pant as her wings beat furiously on the ground, splashing the pooling water around the bowl. Rainbow let her tongue slide off to one side or the other as her hooves stroked down her inner thighs. Some touches made Derpy quiver, others saw her relaxing. Naturally, Rainbow Dash went back to those motions that made Derpy quiver harder, which strangely enough included when Rainbow looked slowly along the outside of her slit, licking up each side like a lollipop. Lollipop, lollipop, oh lolly, lolly, lolly. The blonde filly yelped with each lick, her hips bucking reflexively up against her tongue. Feels so good. Derpy groaned breathily. Heh, that's the idea, baby. Rainbow grinned again. But aren't I supposed to make you feel good, too? She forced out between gasps. Rainbow paused and flushed excitedly. Well, if you want to, I wouldn't say no. Derpy nodded frantically. Yes, I want to make you feel like this. You got it, babe. You got it, dude. Rainbow reluctantly withdrew her lips from the gooey flesh of Derpy's slit, and with a moment of swift thinking, she crawled back on top of her partner, turned around and sat her haunches down over Derpy's face. Her rear legs knelt down to the floor on either side of her head. Rainbow felt a flush across her cheeks, surprised at her own forwardness, but knew it must have been nothing compared to what Derpy was feeling, having a moist crotch abruptly shoved in her face. Rainbow wasn't mincing words either. She was seriously wet by this point, and Derpy definitely knew it. If the throaty gasp from under her rump was any indication. A second later, Rainbow felt the first strokes of Derpy's tongue again against the outer lips of her slit, and was immediately in heaven. Hallelujah. Her head rolled back, and her own tongue lolled like a dog for a few moments, feeling jolts and shudders of pleasure shooting through her at Derpy's eager-to-please ministrations. Her cheeks flushed in pleasure. Rainbow leaned slightly back against Derpy's face, whose tongue and hooves were working away at her nether regions with even more energy than she expected. She felt Derpy's hooves circle her thighs, holding her down against her snout and stroking her cutie marks with their hooves, sending sparks of passion and pleasure racing through Rainbow's body. She was lost in the pleasure for several moments until she realized Derpy's slit remained underneath her, her legs wide open, exposing herself openly to both Rainbow and the jets of water that were raining down on top of them. Feeling the passion racing through her, Rainbow Dash didn't hesitate to dive down, pushing her lips tightly against Derpy's snout, even as she buried her own back between Derpy's legs. And this time wasting no time in prying her slit open with her hooves and pushing her tongue inside of her. Ooh, they're doing the 69. Yay, 69. Jeez, a lot of the fanfictions I'm reading have 69s in them. I don't know why. The response was immediate. A sharp yelp came from Rainbow's ear, muffled only by her slit over Derpy's lips. But Rainbow immediately felt her own slit being opened in response, and a strong, rough surface began to stroke inside of her. The sensations were overwhelming, but Rainbow fought through them, forcing herself to focus on thrusting her tongue deep into her partner, bobbing her head with each lick while her hooves stroked the outsides of Derpy's slit. Despite her rather significant head start, Rainbow was still somewhat surprised that Derpy came first. The other filly was doing much an incredible job down there, mimicking all of Rainbow's motions except pulling them off 5 times better and more focused than Rainbow herself could ever hope to be while she had a tummy and shoved up her crotch. It was enough to distract Rainbow quite badly from her task, but she had been positive that she was lagging behind. Ooh, Derpy's more faster than Dash. Who'd have thunk? But Rainbow must have been doing a better job than even she herself realized, because Derpy's moans grew louder and louder, no matter how heavily Rainbow's hip muffled her. And when Rainbow finally flicked her tongue over the little nub at the top of Derpy's slit, the poor filly had enough. Her body spasmed violently underneath Rainbow. Her wings conversely stopped beating and snapped rigidly still, and her hips bucked so intensely against Rainbow's snout that she had the drawback for fear of having her nose broken. Through it all though, somehow Derpy still kept licking, kept stroking, kept shoving her snout deep into Rainbow's own slit and plunging her tongue deeper still. And Rainbow knew she wasn't going to be far behind. Even in the midst of orgasm, this energetic Pegasus could keep pleasuring her like a champ, and Rainbow found it undeniably hot. Rainbow couldn't hold back a loud yelp of pleasure as her own body reached its climax, her wings flying straight up as her yelp heightened into an outright scream. She straightened her back, sitting up on top of Derpy as the sensations continued to race through her. Even the water still raining down on them from the shower heads couldn't cool the heat she felt flowing through her. She never felt anything like it, and she wanted more. You always want more. More was exactly what she got though. A second orgasm rocked her body as Derpy refused to quit, her tongue searching her slit, sliding in deeper than anything had ever gone before. What, is her tongue just as long as Gene Simmons? What the hell? Right. Rainbow could barely believe how hard the filly was trying, but she definitely did appreciate it. Rainbow wanted to return the favor, but didn't have the presence of mind to do anymore. She could barely think, let alone continue pleasuring Derpy as well. In the midst of her third shrieking orgasm, Rainbow Dash finally threw herself off of Derpy and stopped the torrent of feelings that threatened to completely overwhelm her. Her body flying to the shower floor and splashing to the top of her butt in the air, panting heavily. The cooling water slowly helped her calm down, though it was still several minutes before her panting subsided enough to think properly, let alone speak. Ah, holy Celestia, Rainbow moaned. Derpy, that was freaking amazing. You're like a natural or something. Really? Derpy echoed just as breathlessly. I just tried to do what you did to me first. Yeah, and you did all that and better. We are so gonna have to do it again. Not in this dormitory you won't. Oh, fuck. Oh no. Rainbow's blood ran cold at light speed as she looked up toward the angry new voice. She found an older uniformed mayor staring down at them furiously. Whoops, I did a guy's voice instead. Fuck it, I'm just gonna roll with it. You two, headmaster's office, now! Derpy gulped and shuddered. Uh-oh, Rainbow groaned. Busted. Hey, back to real life. Y'all got caught? Applejack exclaimed and abruptly toppled over in a fit of mirthful giggles. Rainbow's cheeks flushed bright red. Yeah, well, we weren't exactly quiet. Good heavens, in a public bathroom, no less? Rarity chided her, looking thoroughly disgusted. My word, how utterly unclean. It wasn't a bathroom, silly. It was a shower, Pinky corrected her. That's like the place for getting clean. Sounds to me like It's a bunch of good, squeaky, clean fun. Kinda does. Oh dear, Fluttershy whispered, her tone weary despite her own deep blush. You didn't get into much trouble, did you? Are you kidding? Rainbow replied with a sigh. When we got to the headmaster's office, they told us we could be arrested for indecency in public. As would be completely appropriate, Rarity agreed. Any pony could have walked in on you. What if some pony underage had come in? Well, I never said I thought it was a good idea. Rainbow gave her a sour glance, then shook her head with a brief sigh. Well, we managed to negotiate a deal since no pony but the dorm leader saw us. They wouldn't go to the guard. They wouldn't go to the guard. Rainbow lowered her head. If we voluntarily left Cloudsdale Flight School and never came back. Oh, that's just a crying shame. Really. Well, ain't that just a shame? Wasn't nothing worth all that nonsense, just some fillies having a good time, Applejack scoffed. Wasn't like any pony saw nothing. I mean, yeah, why get kicked out of school just because two girls are having sex for the first time? That's just plain homophobic. That doesn't mean it wasn't a mistake, Rainbow insisted. I'm just sorry Derpy ended up paying for it too. And what happened to as well? As a couple? Twilight finally spoke up. You certainly don't seem to be dating now. Rainbow dodged Twilight's eyes and a rush of guilt ran over her face. No, we didn't really stay together. I guess part of me blamed her for getting us caught, even though it was probably mostly my fault. Said some things I shouldn't have. I mean, I was afraid my life was over, you know. Freaking kicked out of flight school? Where the heck was I going after that? So I sorta, I don't know, lashed out at her. Oh, Rainbow, you didn't. That sweet little thing. Applejack scolded. I know, okay? I felt bad enough about it myself, Rainbow admitted. Anyway, we made up and stuff eventually, and we stayed friends. And I would have liked to pick up where we left off, but I don't think she wants me like that anymore. Not after the way I acted. Who knows? Maybe Derpy does have some feelings for you. I mean, personally, I'm more into Rainbow Dash straight than gay, but I actually like to see where this is going. I really do. Which is completely understandable, Rarity scoffed. Rainbow Dash turned a heated glare on Rarity. Hey, I've said I was wrong. You don't have to keep hounding me about it. Well, I'm sorry, Rainbow Dash, but I find the whole thing rather disgusting in many ways. Certainly, mating is a wonderfully enjoyable experience, but doing it in public like that is simply revolting. Rarity insisted. Well, she did say she was sorry. Fluttershy reminded her. Yeah, I've done my best to make it up to her. We're still friends, at least. Rainbow glared at the unicorn. If you're gonna sit there and be all high and mighty, why don't you get out here and tell us your story? Rainbow Dash turned to move out of the center of the circle of friends. Rarity huffed despite her red cheeks and moved out into the center of the circle. Fine then, I shall. All right, go Rarity. Who is your special stud muffin? And by the way, that was Pinkie. Now, Pinkie Pie, it's hardly dramatic to spoil the surprise in advance. My story can speak for itself. Rarity deflected the question, clearing her throat and glancing around at her friends. Well then, I suppose it all began shortly after I arrived from my visit to Canterlot and found myself mingling first hoof with the Equestria's elite. And now, comment time. Black Belt says, "Aw man, that story's kinda sad. And kinda unfair to Derpy and Dash, honestly." Yeah, I feel that way too, dude. Striker 12324. Wow, I feel bad for Dash and Derpy. You did another great job on this one. This could actually fit into the canon timeline. Actually, it is kind of true. It could actually fit in, like somehow fit into the show. You know what would make the story 20% cooler? If Twi reveals that she's a Philly Fuller too, and Twidash occurs. I'm sorry, I can never resist trying to squeeze some Twidash out of a story. Twidash is best ship, but I don't hate the other ships, and I'm a biased bastard. Oh, I'm not really a big fan of like the whole other main six pairing up. Like my favorite kind of shippings are human on ponies. So, but that's just me. Equestrian Anarchist says, apparently Derpy's hung like a horse. Lemon Curry. So Rarity was even worse to her first some pony we know, since you said no more OCs. Why don't I want to guess Filthy Rich? Then Rainbow was to Lady Bubbleflank. Interesting. Licorice Twist, the guy who did that wasn't vanilla icing. Ooh, completely unexpected and kind of sad. Poor Derpy and Dashy. Yeah. Sweetie Star. Applejack. Well, this was an interesting chapter. Flush. This was so sad. Rainbow Dash. Dude, I'm not a lesbian. Pinkie Pie. Ugh. Dashy would never do that. But this was very good. Twilight. A little too many details, don't you think? Spike with the mustache. Swag, 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 swag. Twilight again. Ugh, Spike. Rarity. Ooh, Rainbow Dash, darling. You never told me this. Rainbow Dash. Because I never had this. Derpy. Derp? The unknown alias. I'm surprised no pony called Rarity out on exhibitionism in response to her judgments. Yeah. Okay. Frizzy. Derpy and Dash need to get back together. Yeah, for this story, that should happen. Okay. GLaDOS. I hope Derpy and RD are gonna come together again later in the story. LOL. LOL. God, I hate those. Now that I look at my own words, pun intended. Dart Mall 15. Oh god, this is great. First we got AJ in a setting that fit her perfectly. She's the type that would want to work her like herself. Then we got RD doing it with Derpy. At first I thought it was a joke, but it turned out to be damn good. It even was something RD could do. The best part is how you mix canon and fanon content to make it more believable. That was damn genius. You earned a star. I can't wait to read the rest. What the hell? An Asian toaster. Rainbow and Derpy. Rainbow Shrug. And apparently there's a loop of a video of a girl with dolphin heads as titties. I don't get it. Alright, here's one last comment that I didn't kind of. This is from Circa Cloud 9. Wow, I haven't been expecting that. I find this explanation for why Dash didn't finish flight school to be hysterical, though. all things considered. I wish there had been more of a conclusion to Dash and Gilda's friendship troubles, though. I felt like it had been left hanging a bit. Gilda seemed to be pretty cool with Dash when she came to visit, like they parted on good terms as friends, so I wondered how that went. And if Gilda ever heard the real reason Dash had to leave, that would have been an interesting conversation to listen in on. Really? Phone's ringing? Oh, alright, this is Gin Rollins 211 signing off.